Hey everybody, it's Kathy Byrnes here with Real Estate Riches, and I have my guest Molly Laporta on here today. Hey girl.
Hello. I
So one of the things I asked Molly to be on here for is she is building her business local. She's decided her neighborhood, which isn't so little, and different tips and tricks that she's doing to build relationships so that she's got working business happening right in her own backyard. And so you're going to be able to learn from her. So thanks, Molly, for being here.
Thanks for having me. It was great to see you. Well, I had been on one of your Zoom calls learning about something, and then I was having my little event. So let me tell you a little bit. So I've been in real estate a long time, right? I've tried all different things and I still do a lot of them. I think social media is great and all those things, but one thing I believe in, and I know it's from my retail upbringing with my family business, with my mother, is that it's connection with people. That's the heart. That's the connection. People, what do they say? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I think
You
that's a
care.
quote,
Yeah,
right?
that's it.
And it's so, and here's one of my other favorite quotes. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person or the wrong
Right.
thing to the right
Wrong
person.
thing to the right person.
And those two quotes, if you will, got me over years ago of like being worried to go talk to somebody and say, hey, what do you think? Do you want to do this? Or do you want to buy a house? That kind of thing. And so what I started, one of my favorite things, I've got a lot of them, but one of my most favorite things that I started in my neighborhood here in Cornelius is called Light Up the Neighborhood. And
Yeah, I
so
love this.
this is so my light. Okay. I decided I'm going to make a postcard because you can't put anything in anybody's mailbox, right?
Mhm.
You're going to get in trouble. Made a postcard and it said like, hey, light up the first annual light up the neighborhood. Please wrap your tree trunks in white lights and text me your name and address. When you do that, there will be giveaway. I didn't know what I was doing. I just thought I'm going to go for it. I
Sure.
didn't plan for it for months and months. I said, I'm just going to do it. What's the worst that can happen? So I punched little holes and I hooked them on the top of the mailbox so people would see them, not putting them
Hmm.
in the paper box, right? Well, what ended up happening with that, and I should have counted, I started 2 years later, maybe 50 houses lit up the tree trunks. And let me tell you,
No.
it's beautiful because we've got one of those neighborhoods. You know my neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's like tree-lined streets, okay? So they're lighting up, and I had been buying. I thought, okay, giveaways. The girl I was going to for my nails, she gave a nail gift certificate, and my coffee shop that I went to gave. I thought, well, now I've got to do giveaways for Laporta and Co. Laporta and Company, and so I buy Amazon cards or I buy cute things at Home Goods, and I got smart, okay, and I thought I need to ask businesses to be involved in this because
Yes.
community. And so that was the first year, right? And I'm leaving something out. We have a very active Facebook group. I want to say we have 320 homes right around,
Wow.
okay? And I'm gonna say I should know the number, but I want to say it's like 286 people are in our Facebook group. So husbands
Mm.
and wives, couples, singles, whatever. So I'm in the Facebook group, okay? And I'm going live in there going, hey guys, it's the first annual Light Up the Neighborhood. People, light up what? Is this a contest? Do we have to make our tree? No, just light your trunks. There's no perfect way. And so what would happen then is every week I would go live, and it's the same every year now. Every week in December, I go live in the Westmoreland Facebook group. And I put on funny like Santa glasses or Christmas tree because the kids get involved. When's she going live?
Mhm.
And I pull names. Well, I do it on an app, right? I pull 5 to 7 names every week in December.
Mm.
And those are the giveaways
Oh,
from
I love this.
businesses. Okay. And so, I mean, there's just, it's so cool because in the Facebook group, what I do then is I go get everybody's logo because you can find it on Google.
Yes.
Okay. Where it's Bar Taco, it's Paint the Nail Place up at Birkdale, it's the new North Italia. I mean, I've got people are like, yes, we'll donate. They love it. I ask and they say, okay,
Hmm.
because I'm telling them I'm promoting them. Okay.
Yes.
This is the best exposure they can get from like me. I mean, you know my personality. I'm like, woohoo! I'm like excited about helping others know who the businesses are because I want
Sure.
people to know who I am. And it's
Right.
free to do that. I
Yes.
mean, even though they're giving $25 or $100 dinner for two, that's still
Well,
part of
it's
their budget
win-win. It's win-win.
because that's all in their budget, right? To do
Yeah.
that. So what I do is I go in the Facebook group for the whole, well, I'll start now. As soon as I have stuff from people, I start now and I start posting in the Facebook group like, oh, we've got, these are the donations. People get excited. I want to win this.
Mm-hmm.
And then all through December, I make new, I mean, it's time consuming, but for me, it's part of my marketing and I love
Sure.
it. And so, and you never know who's seeing your name. I want to be a household name here in Westmoreland.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, this is your neighborhood that you're doing it in. That's why it makes sense.
Yeah. And so they go in and all the people in the neighborhood will see all the names. And some, I love it when somebody goes, what's Kunu Coffee? That's where you and I work. Okay.
Yeah.
What's Kunu Coffee? It's right on the corner. You can walk there. Some people never go to that entrance of our
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood. They go to the back, right? And they're like, wow, I never even knew we had a coffee shop here, that kind of thing. So love when that happens. What I started doing 2 years ago, though, Kath, was I thought, why am I not posting this on my regular social media? Why am I
Ooh.
doing this on my Instagram, my Facebook? Well, and some people would say to me, gosh, I've had realtors say it to me. How do you have time for all that? I'm like, do you know how much time you scroll looking at other people's stuff? Do you know how
That's
much time
right.
you spend looking at watching Netflix? And listen, I have guilty pleasures. I watch TV. I'm just saying you make time for what you want to do. So, and this is a, what do we call them? IPA, income producing activity.
Yeah.
That is not the only reason I do it. I probably, knowing me, I would probably do this even if I were not a realtor. My mother was the fun fair lady. My mother planned all her high school reunion. I got it from her.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah,
How is your name on all of this that they know that you're a realtor?
I should have like been prepared to show
No,
you.
just tell me.
So I do, this is just my draft from like the postcard. So what I did this year was I put uh
QR
uh
code?
what's that called? Thank you, QR code. But on my other cards, I've got Laporta and Co. Okay. And I don't know if you want me to go down this rabbit hole, but Laporta and Co. is my overarching umbrella, my LLC.
Hmm.
When I'm doing something like this, because it is a community event, I don't have to put Southern Homes of the Carolinas, EXP
Oh,
powered. You don't have to do that. I checked into everything because I got to be legal, right?
sure.
This is me doing a community event. I'm not saying, can I help you buy or sell a house? Not doing
Right.
that.
But you want them to know that you're a realtor.
Absolutely. And so what I do with this is the other thing I don't want to do is make it be like, there's so many bad salesy people out there who are just about the money. Listen, I got to make money too. I get it. But this is my community and I do care. And I love when they go, you're the light up girl, you're the whatever. And I'm like, did you also know that I'm a realtor? I
Yeah.
say it like that. And they're like, oh, maybe I saw something. So here's what I do, Kath. Normally, and I've got to get back to this. I did those magazines where you can put your name on the back and brand the whole thing. And I would put one of those magazines in every gift bag, 25 to 30 gift bags.
Wow.
So they got to see all kinds of stuff. I'll do it this year too. It'll be a branded card of Laporta and Co. And I'll probably put Southern Homes on that one. Although I'm getting smart over the years, I don't want to have to keep printing things. And you never know. Will I be at Southern Homes next year? Will I be my own thing? Who knows? By the way, I love Southern Homes. I'm fine with Southern Homes. But I put like a big card like this, and it'll have some kind of value added, like here's how to get ready for the spring. Here's what you need to do maintenance wise for your house. You need to checklist. And by the way, I've got great tradespeople. If you need something fixed, give me a
Right.
call. I'm your, what did you always call it too? I've got a
I got
guy.
a guy.
I'm your go-to girl. I'm your connector, I say. So I
Mhm.
make sure that something goes in there that definitely showcases, like, hey, I'm your realtor in the neighborhood. Call me even if you're not ready to buy or sell now. I'm a no pressure girl. I don't care if you're not going to do anything for 5 years. I'm here to be your resource.
Right.
So, and then I give, I make sure that Laporta and Co. is sponsoring it. Not that I have to, but I give things too. I'll do a cute wrap up of Christmas towels and
Sure.
whatever it is. And I put my business card in there.
Oh, good. Okay, so you add the business card. Okay,
Well,
great.
they know. They know it's coming from me.
And even in the Facebook group, like the community Facebook group, does it have your bio that you are a realtor so that people know that?
In my, what do you mean my bio? Like on my, because I come up in the Facebook group, like they know when I go in, even when I've got my little reindeer sunglasses on, I'm like, don't forget, I'm your realtor. Like I
Okay.
always do that. Oh, they
Okay,
know.
great.
Mhm.
Great. That's why I was just making sure because sometimes we just give away and we do nice things with
Yes,
thinking that this is all going to work for our business. But the truth is, we do have to say, hey, I am a realtor and I'm here to help. You know,
100%.
are
And
you able in that group to do any posting like here's what's going on in the market, any of that stuff? And do you do that?
not consistently. And I'm just showing everybody right here, any realtor or anybody who's thinking about becoming a realtor, none of us are perfect, right? Like none
Yep.
of us are perfect. And I'm going to tell you, there's no, Kathy, you would agree with this, I'm sure. There's no magic bullet of this is the perfect thing for success. Consistency is your best friend and follow up. That's it. And so, am I consistent about, no, but you know what? I'm going to write that down and be like, every week I'm going to do a market snapshot in that group.
I absolutely would.
Why am I not
Um,
doing it? You
And
know?
and you know, it is just a matter of putting it in our calendar so that we do it and it's consistent and that's going to cement it a little bit heavier, so that, she's always given us this great information. And whether it can always be a market snapshot, it could be, here's what's happening in the marketplace, what this whole conversation about the 50-year mortgage thing.
Yes,
And people have got positive and negatives on all of that. For me, it's a choice, and it might be right for you, and it might not be.
right?
That's the stance that I'm going to take on it every time because everybody's going to have their own opinion.
For
And
sure.
the truth is, it is a choice, and it might be right for you, and it might not. And but my point being is, there's other things that you could say real estate related that are not isn't just the market. Like one guy I know, he always did how many homes sold in that community that week, or how many are for sale. What did they just close their house for is a big deal.
But that's just it. Like, I need to be in there. There's so many things like that, right? Where we go, why am I not doing that? I need to be in there every week going, this is the market snapshot. What's going on in Westmoreland right now? And people could go, wait, how do we find? Oh, Molly always posts that in the
Right.
Facebook group. There we go.
Well, and the reason I'm thinking about that is I can think of all the postcards that I get in Cornelius or the ads that people are paying for the ads. You got a
Yes.
free spot there.
Free.
And you just do like, there's two homes for sale right now that are active. Here's their address and
Yep.
here's what they're going for. Here's
Yep.
what these ones sold for because people care about how the value is changing
Oh,
on
yeah.
their property. And
Yes.
also, you can have a relationship with different lenders where they've got that. I have a
I
relationship
have
with
it.
my lender, and he sends it out once a month, my list of my clients, and it tells us all what our house is worth. It knows based on public records what was the original mortgage that you took. So it can see if you're up, how much your equity based on just that first mortgage is.
Yeah.
And he can send me that. I can see the back end of that where my clients are looking at it, and I can see who's likely to sell because they're looking at it so much. So it's like a
Yeah.
trigger. Hey, June, do you know anybody that's getting ready to buy or sell? What do you guys think? What's happening in your world without saying, hey, I
Yeah.
saw I'm stalking you.
Right.
And
And I get that every month too, or every how often. I get it through Brad Roach at Element Funding.
yes,
He partners with me. Like he just sponsored, he was a sponsor for the fall event. So like I did the fall event in the
right.
neighborhood. I
Find
don't
out from him if
Yep.
he offers that where he does it for your clients and you get the
Okay.
backdoor entrance.
Yep.
That's what my lender does with me. I don't pay for it.
Okay.
The lender does, and it is a great insight tool. And I give him a list of all the different ones, and I can go right into the back door, and it really helps me, especially since you're focused on your neighborhood.
Yes.
And I'm just seeing that's
Easy.
just another tool.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of doing the posts, different kinds of posts. You could do Market Monday, what's the value, and
Yeah.
then
It's
on
gonna happen. Yes.
Friday finals,
Yes.
where you come up with little tags like that because people love it and they look forward to those posts. And
Yeah.
what's the first thing someone asks you when they meet you and find out you're a realtor? How's the market? Everybody wants to know if they're a homeowner, even if they're not. They might be renting and thinking, how will I ever buy? Where's
Right.
that 50-year mortgage come into play?
Yep.
And you don't even have to make the answer to that question. It
Right.
might be right for you, it might not be. We should probably sit down. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah.
And start that discovery process. I was talking to a friend of mine that's in a networking group this morning. She just got married about a year ago. They've been renting. She loves the area where she lives, all her family's there. And I said, "Are you going to buy, girl?" And she goes, "I don't know that I can afford it." And I said, "Well, new construction's practically giving away homes right now, and the rates are great." And I said, "You got to get your foot in the door by buying a house." I said, "This 50-year mortgage may or may not be something that's good for you. There may be completely different options, but most buyers, they're looking at what's that payment? What's the payment?"
That's what they're looking at.
That's exactly what
Can
they're
you
looking
blame
at.
them with the world we're living in, with how expensive everything and
Yes, they got to look at that. And you definitely don't want those crazy arms. I'm not a fan of that. That's what really kind of killed us back in 2007.
yeah,
Um, but I think a flat rate, or if you can get a new construction where they buy down that rate, like some of
right,
these new construction firms right now are doing 4% interest rate. Now that is probably is for a period of time, but I
right.
don't know that it's an arm loan, or they buy down points to get the rate down for
Oh,
you.
there's amazing deals. I've reached out to several of my clients going, they're like, well, we're going to wait till this. And I'm like, you don't
No.
understand. Because then the prices, boom.
Yes.
And
Yes. You
a
got
lot of
to
people
get your
don't
foot
get
in the
that.
door. You got to get your foot in the door, people. And so I think that that could really level your thing up there,
Yes,
especially
I
with
agree.
consistency. And I am a fan of consistency.
I
And
know.
but you do the tree lighting, you do this thing at the coffee shop. Tell me what you did down there.
Okay, so this is kind of fun. I have a really dear friend of mine whose son loves videography, and he's really good at it. Okay. Oh, you met him. You met
Yeah.
Ethan. And he does photos too. And he said, "How do I kind of break into, maybe real estate photography?" And he'll be the first to say, I don't know if I want to be a real estate photographer, but I kind of want to break in because maybe then I could be the video guy. And I
Hmm.
said, like I say to people kind of starting out, no matter what their age is, he's young, he's in his early 20s. I said, you got to kind of give your stuff away for free in the way of just putting it out there.
Yep.
Even I know some photographers who started out very differently and now they're like up here and they're doing amazing, but they did the work like, I don't know if this is going to come back to me. And it does. It usually does in some form or another. So I just said, hey, how would you feel about doing an event? I did this back in Chicago 20 something years ago. My kid was 2 years old and he was at a private school, little school. And so we had all kinds of major events. I just said private because it's like we brought all different people in. Okay. And one of them was a photographer. And what he did was he came in for one of our events and he took everybody's picture, but he took like 5 to 10 pictures and you got one or two free. Well, guess what? You love your kid, you want the photos. So we're all calling Mark Brown to get our photos from Mark. Well, that's how he was really, that was his bread and butter because
Smart.
all these women, right? So I just said to Ethan, hey, this is kind of how this works. And he's just so open to the knowledge. He goes, that sounds great. Let's do it. I said, let's do like a fall photo thing. And we set up the hay bales and the pumpkins and the corn
At the
stalks.
coffee shop.
At the coffee shop, sorry. So at Kuno at the front of my neighborhood. So I just said to the owner, who's amazing, he's wonderful, Terrence, and I just said, hey, how would you feel about partnering? Could I use your space here and have people on a Saturday? He said, that's great. Let's do it on a weekend because nothing else is open there, right, for
Right.
parking. And I said, I really want to get a pickup truck for the backdrop. Like, I think that'd be so cool. Like, I want to buy one and just say Laporta and Co. So I have it. I'll rent it out to people. They can use the other side of it, put a magnet over it. And I'm driving through the back neighborhood from my mom's and I see this pink pickup truck. I don't know anything about this really cool business called Bentley's Buds and Tap. And I get out of my car and the girl's in her front yard. I go, I know this is crazy, but could I rent your pickup truck for a morning? Could you just park it? She laughs and we start talking and she's great and it's wonderful. And she goes, well, wait, I'm doing an event. Where is your event? I said, Kunu Coffee. She goes, my event's at Kunu Coffee. Teresa
Oh,
and I had not crossed paths to talk about this yet. She goes, I'll be there. Perfect. Okay, so the point is we didn't end up using the pickup truck really for the background. Some people got their pictures in front of it, but now we had the Bentley's Buds and Tap there, and it's
which was
beautiful,
flowers. Gorgeous.
beautiful, right? Gorgeous. You can go pick
Clean,
stem.
a pink classic truck.
So cool. What would that
Yeah.
be? Like an old
I think
50
that one was a Dodge.
something?
It
Okay.
was a 50s Dodge.
So cool, right? And
Yeah.
just the presentation's darling, and people are drawn to that. And so I just put a big sandwich sign out at the road, West Catawba, with some balloons with my logo, Laporta and Co. Ethan was there. Well, we had a really nice turnout.
Yep.
And I just posted around like in our Facebook group in the neighborhood, wasn't just
Mhm.
for the neighborhood. And when people would come down that sidewalk, again, I'm not afraid to talk to people because I'm like, what's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to be mean to me. It's okay. I'll be nice. And I said to a lady, this is funny. I said, I don't know if you met her when she was still there,
Yeah.
but I said, hey, do you want your picture taken? And her energy matched mine. And sure. And I said, well, I'm a realtor. It just pops out. It pops out. I'm
Yeah.
doing this event. I'm a realtor. I like to do community stuff. She goes, oh my gosh, I need a realtor. And I'm going, right. And so does that happen every time? No. But it happened that time. And you just never know who you're going to meet through what event. But needless to
Right.
say, the event was great. It gave Ethan exposure, it gave me exposure, it gave Kunu, and it gave Bentley's. And a really cool thing, I know you already know about it because you're in the know, how you can collaborate on Instagram now, and you can click that button and then hit collaborate. So then that business sees all your stuff. They're all
Yep.
their followers, right? So those are really cool things where you're helping someone, they're helping you, and you all work it together, you know?
Yeah. I totally agree with that. So now you've been gathering, address and stuff.
Yeah.
And so don't you do something else besides just the tree lights? You got another project you're looking to do that you can do for the whole thing. But then what
Yes.
are all the follow throughs so that you stay in touch besides the Facebook group throughout the year?
So I've gotten better over the last 6 years. You would have to, it gets better. Now I don't put fifth or sixth or fourth annual. I leave that blank because if I have leftover cart, whatever it is, it's just like
Yes.
the
Lessons
whatever.
learned.
Doing this since 2019, all those things. So what I've done now, because of course now I've got like a database of these people. It's a
Yep.
beautiful thing when they text me their name. Some people don't want you to have their number. These people don't care. They're great. I text back, great, thanks so much for da da da. I add them to my phone immediately. They are
Yep.
in my contacts. Then I go to I'm on a Mac, it doesn't matter. I go to my contacts and I have a group. Westmoreland, Lida, LUTN.
Hmm.
They're all in that group.
Good.
So I can do things, again, consistency, sending something out where I could say, here's this. Like that's one way of following up with those people.
Yep.
But so let me back up for a minute from there because like you just mentioned, do I have some other ones? Yes. So like we will be having fingers crossed because our pool blew up in our neighborhood. But it's okay because we're going to have an even better pool and a better clubhouse. It was old and something was wrong and whatever. But it's all being fixed. So we're going to have this beautiful clubhouse where we can really do more events and
Nice.
really use it. And so doing like the pool party where I can just show up and have, like the big sign about Laporta and Co. Hey, I'm here to answer any questions. Whether anybody comes and talks to me or not, I'm there. I'm giving out whatever I'm giving out. You can give out all kinds of things. Or I'll do probably like a giveaway or some kind of contest to win like monogram cool beach towels because
Sure.
I don't want to hand stuff to people always right then. I
No.
want to have to
Capture.
connect with them. I need your name or your kid's name for the towels now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a method to all this. And
Yeah.
so, I'll do that. And another thing I'm going to start doing, I just met with a just wonderful new financial planner, which so
Hmm.
many realtors and they need one, myself included. Like over the years, I've been with different people, but never really had that connection. And so we are going to start doing events together because
Smart.
what I find so often, Kath, is that a lot of people think that people have it together financially in their 30s, 40s, and they just don't. Some people do.
Well, and so many realtors don't because of our straight commission scenario.
And when you're coming from a place, it has so much to do with how you were raised, what your mindset is on money. Do you speak the words of I'm broke or do you speak the words of I'm good, I've got it coming? And so I just met with someone, I've had 2 meetings with her now, and she's like, I love these events that you do. Same thing. And she's like, what could we do together? And I said, I'll tell you what we could do together is we need to offer something. And a lot of financial planners would go rent out the restaurant and they give you a free prime rib to come and meet. And I get it's listen, when I'm telling you this, if you know as well as I do, I'm not reinventing the wheel on marketing. Like
Right.
people do these things. But the thing is, I do believe when it's done, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but done differently from a place of like, I know these neighbors now,
Yeah.
like all these businesses that I go into and say, hey, I'm here for an ask. I'm asking you for it just breaks the ice, which is great. That's my personality. And they're like, now what do you do? Now I've got all these relationships. And when I invite them to something, whether I do something for past and current clients or my neighborhood, and we do something in the, I'm pointing like at the clubhouse, and I say, this is going to be like just an intimate question and answer session. I might do something where it's just, are you a woman who's gone through a divorce and you're scared? Because I've been there. I've been
Hmm.
there where I was like, what am I going to do? And I got to pull all this together, and it's very intimidating.
Sure.
A lot of people don't want to call a realtor to get a house or go to a financial planner because of intimidation. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't have the money. You can do so much more with even a little if you just start. So that's another thing I'm going to do.
A comfort zone. And maybe that's even the thing. Come get comfortable and ask questions
Yes,
without feeling the need that you have to do something.
no
Right?
pressure.
Yeah.
Like,
And
no,
that events are so important on all scales. And now, and you know what I noticed that I see you do in your social media is you will go interview different firms, not firms, like little companies, like the coffee shop. You'll say, "Hey, I'm
yeah,
here today. I'm at this coffee shop or I'm at this boutique. They've got all these cool little clothes," because your focus seems to be hyper local.
yes. And so that being said, yes, it is. It is, but I'm going to tell you a funny story here of how I want people to understand how far the reach can
Oh yeah.
be. So you never know how much you're going to touch someone or who's going to see what you're posting. I
Hmm.
had somebody in California find me and say, I don't know how I can help you in your business, but can we talk? And I called her. And at this point, it was like she didn't know I was a realtor, but she knew I did health and wellness. And I said, well, you could buy a house from me someday. She goes, you got to be kidding. We're ready to buy a house and we're moving to Idaho. But you probably can't help me there. I said, the heck, I can't help you there. I can help you.
Yes.
So I get on the phone and I call around. And when I call a realtor and say, hey, I might have a referral for you. Listen, if they go, oh, can I help you? You're the wrong one. If they go, oh, sure, let's chat. Okay. So I'll vet people out. Well, I put this friend of mine in touch with the realtor there. They bought a house. I got a commission.
Yeah.
This
So
girl
back
has,
to being hyper local, just because you're hyper local where your focus is, but you're still
yes,
letting people know I can help you. Just like me, I help
anywhere.
people all over the world
All
on
of, oh,
purpose.
yeah,
But people who know me know that because my
yeah,
branding, my marketing, it also talks about that. I'm not, this is where our focus is, this is where the energy is right here, but I've got connections to everything. And connections really is it in this business. Whether it's like a neighbor calls you up and says, my HVAC just went out. Well, Molly's going to know because she knows everybody, so they'll call you. Then you just made a business owner happy because you sent him a referral. He's going to be
yep,
thinking more favorably of you if he's got any leads for real estate. He's going to say, you better call Molly Laporta because she's good people. And that's how it goes back and forth. So hyper local is very important as well because
yeah,
that's where you really bring the strength of those relationships.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
And
so good. I mean, you're right because we can do referrals, and I think people miss that sometimes. I think they do put themselves like hyperlocal is so important, but never underestimate your reach. I don't have some
yes.
huge Instagram following. I might have
Hmm.
like 2,500 people. I don't have 10,000 or more.
Hmm.
Listen, I've some, New Jersey, Idaho, Tennessee, like I've done referrals in all those places this year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So it
great.
all does find you. I
Yeah.
believe it's the right business for everybody.
So to recap, it all started with just wanting to make the neighborhood look great because you're that neighborhood where it's tree-lined streets because
Yes.
it is a neighborhood and a lot of times they do that with the trees to begin with when they first start that neighborhood. And you
Yep.
had a vision, boy, wouldn't that be cool if those were all done in white lights, which I'm sure it is. I'm going to drive down there.
You
And
have to.
And then you thought, boy, I can commingle that with my real estate, and I can then go on to the community Facebook group and start to build relationships in there by doing this. And I can also be building it where I am talking to different business owners who were want to get to know the community, because like you said, over 300 homes in that
Yeah.
community, this makes sense. And they
Yep.
want to reach out to their locals, right? Well, of
Yep.
course they're going to give away frees. So now you're branding yourself again when you're giving all this stuff away. And then at the end, you do some sort of grand, like here was a list of all our winners, something like that.
Yeah, I do. I do. And like what you said, it all does snowball.
It
And
does.
it's limitless of how to keep it going. Like my brain goes, I could do all these things. But it's like, yeah, at the end, it's like a video short, a video, like a sped up video of the neighborhood, how beautiful the lights are. And then
Yes.
it'll have music with like, here's all the winners and thank you to all of our sponsors. And then I
Right.
follow up with, I didn't mention this earlier, handwritten notes, people,
Ooh, I love that. Love that.
notes. I don't just do the letter on the type, whatever, but handwritten notes to every business who participated
It's
and
personalizing it. It's really
personalizing it.
personalizing it.
'Cause when I
Now,
walk in,
I got a tip for you.
yeah, tell me.
Okay, so AI, now you probably don't have that whole system all in a systemized platform. I've got this little thing called Limitless, and it's a little thing that you wear. What's so cool about this is it could go back through this video of everything you just said that it did, and you could copy that and put it into ChatGPT and say, will you create the system that we just talked about that she actually has? So now you got the system,
Mhm.
and the system, because Limitless, that's what it does. It's just a little thing you wear on your clothes. You can even set it on the computer, and it records everything that's said by all the parties. And
And it's really good, right? Like it's high quality. It hears things.
oh,
Like,
yes.
okay.
So I was on this 3 day, actually 4 day thing with Tony Robbins, and it was all teaching all this AI stuff. And I knew there was an upsell to it.
Mhm.
So I'm disregarding the upsell part because I did not want to buy it.
Right.
But I wanted to learn from all the different speakers that they had. So I had my Limitless right here on my computer so that I could even walk out of the room. But I was writing notes and learning things. Well, when I was done, I went to the Limitless website, although you can do it on the app. I
Okay.
picked the pieces that I wanted,
Mhm.
copied them into ChatGPT, and I said, all right, I want bullet points because that's how the only way I see things. I said, I
Okay.
need bullet points of the all the key components here for me. Then I want you to create a LinkedIn article that is going to do it. I want the heading. I wanted a strong call to action that it ends with all SEO stuff. And I said, then I want you to do it for the format of LinkedIn, TikTok, and Facebook. And then I'm going to need picture prompts for each one of those platforms. Boom. This is what it does. Now, of course, it needs tweaking, but
Right.
that is just what Limitless can do and how I did that. But what I learned is there's a thing called
Okay.
N8N. I don't know if it ends in AI. I think it does, .ai. So that is a systems thing where it will create all the workflows for you. So
Oh,
you basically say, here's my list of everything I do. I need to create a workflow over here. And you go over there and you say, you ask ChatGPT, say, how do I tell N8N that this is the workflow that I need so that it will create the whole format for me? And some of that stuff it will automatically do. You don't have to do the steps. And that's what I'm talking about. Like,
yeah.
um, but you also want the workflow of the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what Limitless is kind of doing by listening to what you're saying you did. It'll show you your process so that can go in there.
That's a
Anyway, so this is where AI is just changing all our businesses. So I'm seeing that you have a system that works, but
hmm
it can be more time saving because a lot of what you're doing is, you got to remember, well, how did I do that last year? No, here it is. Here's the processes. Here's the things that I've learned about don't put the date on the cards.
Yep.
See that all that stuff can be remembered. Now you got the system. So every year you just pull that out. Maybe it's in your Google Docs. And now here,
Yep.
check, check.
And
And
that's beautiful because you know where it all is? It's in my phone, in notes, in different notes. I just started pulling things over to Google Drive to it's all this, and it needs to be all in one place. It's tweaking.
Well, and that you just showed me, if that's part of it, you upload that in there with the little plus button. You upload all that stuff
The
in,
photo, right? And it just takes it.
done.
Take the photo and done. Yeah.
And say just, well, reads it, literally reads your,
Yeah.
whether it's a photo, handwritten, whatever, all your handwritten stuff, you just upload it in. And you can take a photo of it so it goes in if it's easier than uploading it as a PDF. It's like,
Right. Right. Yeah.
um,
I
but
love that.
then now you've got your systems because that's where we save our time. And AI can save us so much time. But we need to wrap this up.
Okay. Okay. This was
This has
great.
been
I
fun.
appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on and being interested in it and talk. I think it's so much value to anybody in sales who like wants to bring community together, not just realtors, but it's a
Yeah.
great way for us to do this and build relationships.
Well, a lot of realtors live in communities like this and they don't, they're like, well, how do I even start? And I love the tree idea because it wasn't necessarily trying to have the pool thing that maybe somebody else has got done.
Right.
And maybe there isn't a neighborhood Facebook group that they could start and then send a
Yes.
card out to each one of the neighbors,
Yes.
inviting them to the Facebook group.
Yeah.
And here's me, and do a picture card where you just said you put it on the mailbox like that. And there's all kinds of ideas, but that's where you're building relationship, and but I think you got to give things. I think it's important to do the market. I think it's important to talk about what's for sale in the neighborhood. And but I love the unique things that you talked about with the lights. And I would look at other things too, like July 4th, like could we do? You could even
We
ask
thought
the
about
company. You could
red,
say,
white, and blue trees.
yeah, what should we do, people? Let's have a brainstorming session. And then because the more you network with them where we're all tied, the closer you get, of course they're going to hire you just because
And
they
they see
love
my
you.
personality. They
Yeah.
see how I respond to things. They see how I act in the group. And they see, a big thing about realtors is people complain that realtors are not responsive.
Yeah.
And so they see I'm responding to the comments and I'm responding to the this. And so that like, oh, she's on it. And the more they see your name. So when you do farm, let's say you farm the neighborhood with one of those cards, nothing wrong with that. There's my name again. It's
Yeah.
easier to farm when they know who I am,
Well,
you
this has
know.
been great, Molly. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. And that is the end of Real Estate Riches for today, but stay tuned. We got many more great ideas just like Molly gave us today. Thanks. Let's book a strategy call and see how it would look in your eyes. And if you're thinking, man, I'd like to have a conversation with Kathy Byrnes. Maybe I'd like to be part of this EXP company and see what it's all about. That sounds good to me. Let's book a strategy call and let's have a talk. No pressure, but man, it's worth a conversation. The link's in the description.